번째는 그 토니 아벨라 빌에 대해서 써 있고, 그 다음에 이제 토비스키하고 이렇게 비교해 보시라고 여기 이렇게 써 있습니다. 근데 여기에 보면은 여기 그 토니 아벨라 여기 법안에는 아주 자세하게 여기에 이렇게 다 써 있습니다. 그래서 여기에 이거를 보면은 여기에 얼만큼 1974년도에 그 국제수로기구에서 또 유엔에서 얼마나 이거가 그 결의안이 있기 때문에 얼마나 정당성이 있고 이런 자세한 거에 대해서 다 알려드리고 있습니다. 아 그래요? 아 설명. 오케이. 그러니까 한국말로 하셔도 괜찮아요? 우선은 인포메이션.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming. Please bear with me because I only got back from Albany today at 5:30 in the morning. So I'm a little tired. But I'm happy that we're here today to discuss my bill in the Senate and in the legislature to require in textbooks that the EC be mentioned in textbooks as opposed to the Sea of Japan, and that comfort women also be listed in the textbooks of the state of New York when it comes to education. As many of you know, that I've been involved in both of these issues now for many years. The fact that the state of Virginia was able to pass a bill about EC was the momentum for me to do the same thing in the state legislature. And what I did was I combined both issues because they are related. And one of the things that the legislature looks at is justification. Why do we need to do this? And tying the EC issue to the comfort women ties this issue to historical perspectives about World War II. And it's that type of connection that has enabled me to be able to say that the bill has passed the first major hurdle and has been approved by the Rules Committee. Now, in the Senate, when you want to bring a bill or you want to introduce a bill, it normally goes to the respective committee. In this case, it would be the Education Committee. But the Rules Committee has the ability to pull things out of the normal process and immediately be able to pull it up for a vote. Because otherwise, it goes through a committee, then it has to have what is called a waiting period. It has to age out. But when it gets past the Rules Committee, it cuts through all of that extra, I guess you could call bureaucratic red tape, and it has the ability to be brought up to the floor immediately. This bill is coming to the floor. It'll probably come to the floor after the budget, because right now, and that's why I only got back at 5 in the morning today. The Senate did a one-house bill. In the next week and a half, 2 weeks, we have to do the budget for the state of New York. After that, we'll then be concentrating on legislation. But it is I'm so very pleased that the state Senate has moved very quickly to pass it through the Rules Committee, and it will come up to the full Senate for a vote. And I know it will get passed. This has been a priority for me for the past few years on both issues. And before I turn it over to some other dignitaries that are here with me, I want to address some of the political nonsense that has gone on about this issue. One of my colleagues in the Senate introduced a bill on the EC. She actually rushed to try and beat me to introduce my bill. Her bill is dead. Dead. It is not going anywhere. It never had a chance because she's in the minority. And the fact that the Senate now has passed my bill out of the Rules Committee, you never have another bill come up. So her bill, for all intents and purposes, is dead. And I urge all the groups that have gotten behind that because they thought that was the appropriate thing to do, I'm telling them now, it's a waste of time. Let's all get together and pass the bill that can get passed. And I am working with the Assembly on getting the Assembly sponsor and getting it introduced and passed in the Assembly. And let me just give you one example. When I first introduced the resolution for the comfort women in the Senate, and I also wanted it introduced in the Assembly, I was told by people in the community, and I won't even mention names, you'll never get that done. It's impossible, you will never get it done. I did get it done. because I said I would, and I worked and I made it a priority, and I did get it done. And then I worked to get it done in the Assembly. It took a little bit longer, but it also got approved in the Assembly. That's the same approach I'm taking here with this bill. We all need to work together. This is a hugely important two issues to the Korean American community here in the United States and the people of South Korea. They have my commitment that this legislation is going to get done. And what we need to do from this point is all work together to get it done, because it is important for the Korean American community. Donna, would you introduce some of our speakers? And then after our speakers, we'll take questions.
So I just want to introduce Ms. Callaghan, who is the president of the Korean American Parents Association, who's been working on this issue for a long time. So here is Ms. Callaghan. 최윤희 회장님이십니다. 지금 뉴욕 한인 학생 학부모 협회에서 회장님이신 최윤희 회장님이십니다.
우선 이 법안이 통과되게 된 거를 하나님께 감사드립니다. 계속 하나님한테 기도했는데 기도가 응답됐고 첫 관문이지만 어쨌든 너무 기쁘게 생각합니다. 그리고 이것은 무엇보다도 가장 중요한 것은 이것은 한국하고의 일본의 이슈가 아닙니다. This is not the issue between Korea and Japan. This is a human right issue. This is a history that we have to teach our children to not to repeat itself. It's nothing to do with Korea and Japan. This is like a Nazi, whatever they did. It's all educated to the all throughout the world, preventing from the repeat again. This is a purpose. It's nothing to do with the Korea and Japan relationship, and we have to remember that. 그리고 이거에 대해서 여러분들 아시겠지만 이 토니 아벨라 빌은 이렇게 자세하게 저스티피케이션이 필요한 설명이 자세하게 다 들어 있습니다. 그래서 이거가 통과된 것은 우연한 일이 아니고요. 이것이 통과된 것은 이만큼 여기에 1978년도에는 IHO에서 그렇게 서포트하는 결의안이 있었고 1976년도에는 또 여기에 UN에서 결의안이 있었습니다. 그렇기 때문에 이거가 통과된 것이 이거가 우연이 아니라고 생각합니다. 그리고 또 다시 한번 말씀드리고 싶은 것은 여기 뒤에 보시면 아시겠지만 우리가 여태까지 해온 거에 대해서 이거가 사실은 2007년도에 요코 얘기로 외국 도서가 도는 거를 보고 이거 언젠가는 우리가 바로 가르치지 않으면 우리가 침략자가 된 것 같고 우리 자녀들이 한국 사람들이 만행을 한 것 같이 되는구나. 그렇게 시작한 것이 이거를 하게 됐습니다. 그래서 여기에 그런 거가 다 있고요. 제가 또 말씀드리고 싶은 거는 우리 학부모협회가 이거에 대해서는 수선협회에서는 피쉬가 전문인 것 같이 우리가 전문적으로 우리가 계속 6년 동안 일해왔습니다. 그래서 지금 범동포가 조직됐는데요. 너무 좋은 일이고요. 그러나 학부모협회를 도와서 범동포가 나가야 될 거고 그리고 이거는 이 법을 통과시키는 거가 중요한 거지 누구 이름을 대서 누구 이름과 명예를 위한 것이 아니고 이거는 특별히 우리 자녀들의 교과서에 대해서인 것을 여러분들한테 알려드리고요. 감사드립니다.
다음에 제가 소개해드릴 분은 성 선생님이시거든요. 이분은 2008년부터 이 동해 바다의 이 운동에 참여를 하셔서 노력을 많이 해오셨습니다. 지금 소개를 해드리겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 뉴욕 한인 학부모의 대학부 부회장으로 있고 하버드 학부모 현 회장에 사무되는 사람입니다. 지금 이렇게 좋은 일이 일어나서 너무 기쁜데 제가 뭐 이렇게 할 말씀은 아닌데 우리 최윤희 회장이 정말 이때부터 2008년 1월부터 이 이제 Yes, East, Seek 하는 우리가 옷을 입고 모든 학부모들이 이렇게 손을 흔들고 정말 이 운동을 벌렸어요. 그래서 내가 생각할 때 야 이건 너무 하나님의 뜻이다. 어떻게 이 바다가 자기 거라 그러냐 말이야. 이래 해봤을 때 동해 너무나 이게 합당한 말이었다고 생각하고 우리 한인 학부모가 정말 열심히 시작했는데 며칠 전에 신문을 보니까 이거를 시작한 최윤희 회장의 이름은 빼고 무슨 해가 합쳐가지고 자기들이 했는 것 같이 이래 했더라고. 그래서 내 마음에 아닌 거는 아니다. 이 모든 것을 시작할 때 최윤희 회장이 했어요. 해서 내가 이 시퍼런 옷을 입고 거기에 여러 명 김밥과 물과 뭘 먹어가면서 우리 운동을 펼쳤다고. 그러니 니 했다 니 했다 그 말이 아니라 최윤희 여장이 이렇게 힘써 했으니 우리 모두가 어디에 포인트를 두면서 이 그룹이 모아져야 힘이 있지 않겠어요? 바르게. 그런 의미로서 제가 나왔습니다.
그리고 이제 마지막으로 임형빈 회장님께서 노인 유권자께서 오셔서 한 말씀 하시겠습니다.
네, 뭐 시골 이상으로 봐더라도 버지니아에서부터 뭐 여러 군데서 지금 이 동해 경기 문제로 해서 상당히 이슈가 돼가지고 결의가 된 데도 있고 그렇습니다. 근데 뉴욕에서도 이렇게 이제 지난번에 동해 경기로 해서 제출이 된 바도 있었는데 그거는 아직 해결되지 않은 상태에 있고 또 토니 아벨라 의원이 특별히 또 동해 단독 독립적으로다가 또 거기와 아울러서 위안부 문제까지 같이 겹쳐서 결의안을 갖다 이렇게 법사위원회에서 거의 만장일치나 되는 표수로다 이렇게 정말 좀 가결됐다는 건 아주 이게 정말 경화스러운 일입니다. 우리가 뭐 동해 병기가 됐든 단독이 됐든 간에 우리 의도가 그대로 반영되는 것이 그게 얼마나 중요한지 모릅니다. 나는 지금 이렇게 생각해 볼 적에 벌써 법사위원회에서 이렇게 대다수의 거의 만장일치 가까운 그걸로 이게 가결됐다는 걸 미뤄볼 적에 본 회에서도 총회에서도 꼭 그렇게 이러한 걸로 가결이 되지 않겠느냐 이런 생각을 해봅니다. 그리고 또 어떤 사람들은 뭐 하나가 돼야 되지 않겠느냐 하는 생각을 하는데 물론 주에 따라서 다릅니다. 버지니아주는 버지니아주 법대로 거기는 뭐 병기로 해도 되고 뉴욕은 뉴욕대로 병기가 아니고 단독으로다가 해도 전 학생들 교과서에 그것만 실려서 우리의 위상만 갖다가 나타낼 수만 있다면은 그것이 다행이 아니겠느냐, 좋은 일 아니겠냐, 그렇게 생각을 합니다. 앞으로도 계속해서 우리가 여기 좀 힘을 모아줘서 전체 회의에서도 꼭 그렇게 가결될 수 있도록 이렇게 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
You know, I think one of the things that we need to keep doing, not only about this legislation here in New York State, and if we get it passed here, it'll be a strong message throughout the entire country, is that in 2017, the international, as it relates to the EC, in 2017, the international organization that is responsible for naming bodies of water throughout the globe will once again meet. So we want to build up as much support for this as possible so that in 2017 we can hopefully get the international organization to end this issue once and for all, and every map across the globe will be renamed. Questions? Don't all jump up at once.
I have a few questions. I'm going to start with the first one. So I guess passing the Toby Siniski's bill was passed the Education Committee a few days ago.
No.
No.
No. No. Who said that?
Okay. So.
The Toby Stavisky said no, that's not true.
Okay. Second of all, the second question is, I guess you said you were going to amend the bill that it was going to be EC only. No. But now there's
No. The bill has like a fallback position.
Okay.
The bill says the body of water should be renamed as EC. It also then says in the bill, if that is not possible, then it should be dual reference. The reason we put that in, because the bill mandates that the State Department of Education would have to buy textbooks that have EC. Suppose that's not available, then at the very least it should be dual reference. But the bill stresses it should be EC first.
Another question.
Now there is, I noticed there was a report the other day that said that my bill passed the Judiciary Committee. That report was inaccurate. It passed the Rules Committee. Unfortunately, there is a lot of misinformation out there, and that's one of the reasons for this press conference. Not only to say that the bill is moving, but to set the record straight. The Toby Stavitsky bill, although she may have been well-intentioned, is dead. It's not going anywhere. So why are we dividing the Korean American community with the support? At this point, we should be getting behind my bill, which is the only bill that has an opportunity to pass at this point.
What is the potential of this bill getting passed by the House? I know the House is,
The Assembly.
The Assembly.
Yeah.
I guess since you changed your political affiliation as an independent, I mean, does that have any effect on?
It does have a big effect.
Okay.
It also had a big effect on moving the legislation. When you're in the minority party, getting legislation passed is extremely tough. And this is not, quite frankly, an easy lift. I mean, this is some of the issues that normally the state legislature doesn't get involved in. And it's the same thing with the comfort women. I had to go through various versions of that resolution before we were able to get it passed. Being as part of the Independent Democratic Conference, I'm now in the majority. And I have the ability to pass legislation. That also has a different, I now have a different perspective with the Assembly. And it's very interesting that before in the minority party, and this is why Toby Stavitsky's bill never had a chance to go anywhere, it would be very tough for me to get an Assembly sponsor on a bill. Or an Assembly member, if they wanted their bill to pass in the Senate, they might go to a member of the Independent Democratic Conference or the Republican Conference because they have the ability to pass the bill. Since I joined the IDC, all of a sudden Assembly members are now coming to me asking me to sponsor their bills. It'll be much easier to get an Assembly sponsor and get it passed in the Assembly. And I think once we get past this point of the competing two bills, and everybody begins to realize there really is only one bill, and that's my legislation, we'll be able to start to move it in the Assembly. And I want to thank you for asking that question because we have to get the word out. We absolutely have to cut out the political nonsense. What?
I wasn't trying to help you. I have one more question. So I think there were some concerns that the comfort women issue is included in this bill. I think there is concern because they feel like it's going to be a very foreign affairs kind of issue, you know, Korea versus Japan kind of thing. If you can comment on that.
The EC of Japan is a controversial issue with Japan. Combining the two, in my opinion, actually makes it easier to address the EC issue. Because remember, we got the Senate, through me, and the Assembly to sponsor a resolution about the comfort women. So both houses of the state legislature are already on record that this is an issue. And combining them in terms of the historical references to World War II is very important. Because it really was, the comfort women, obviously, the terrible tragedy occurred by the Japanese occupation during World War II. And the Sea of Japan really was used more heavily with the Japanese occupation of Korea during World War II. So the two of them are combined, and it's reasonable to change the history books and the textbooks to reflect that fact. We're correcting something that occurred during World War II, which was very unfortunate, and the people of this state, as well as the country and the world, should know that what happened during that period was not right, and what we're saying is that both issues are connected and should be corrected in the textbooks. And again, it has nothing to do, you know, I've said this before in reference to the comfort women and the EC. It has nothing to do with the current leadership of Japan. It has nothing to do with the current people of Japan. It's a problem that was created during World War II. And, you know, the American expression, if we don't learn from the past history, we're doomed to repeat the mistakes. This is a fair thing to do. And the two issues are linked. And that's why I think it actually helps move the EC issue along. Because if it was a standalone issue, it would be a tougher fight, actually.
By how many votes did it pass, the committee?
I believe it was unanimous. It was I think there was one I without rec, which means I'm fine with it, but I don't want to say, yeah, totally. But it passed unanimously except for that one I without rec.
Have you gotten messages from Japanese government?
For the Japanese government? I say as I always have said. It's very, I think it's incumbent upon the Japanese government to recognize what happened during World War II. Again, it's not the current officers or government, it's not the current people, but there were things that occurred during World War II. The comfort women situation, the fact that that's when the Sea of Japan became more prominently known, because the EC had been used for thousands of years, to rectify this. And Japan and South Korea are important allies to themselves and to the United States. And I think we need to get past some of these issues that occurred in World War II. I mean, what is this, 60, 70 years ago? But they will keep coming up until Japan steps forward and does the right thing. And I think it's incumbent upon the government to do that. If Germany, now I'll talk about, more the comfort women aspect of it, but again, the EC is also related to World War II. If Germany can step forward and recognize what happened during the Holocaust and World War II, so can Japan. Anybody else? Good? Thank you. 감사합니다.
내 사진으로 찍어줘야지.
What am I doing?
Okay, can you just briefly introduce the bill that you just passed?
Right. Well, I'm happy to report that the bill that I had introduced in the Senate to change the name of Sea of Japan to EC and also introduce into the textbooks what happened with the comfort women situation during World War II passed the Rules Committee so that it could come up for a full vote on the Senate floor any day now. And that's a huge achievement.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. 안녕하십니까. 뉴욕 한인학부모협회 공동회장 최윤희입니다. 우선 여기에 상원의 첫 관문인 위원회를 통과한 것을 하나님께 감사드립니다. 그리고 상원을 통과하고 하원의 검증을 거치고 주지사가 사인을 하면은 이것은 법이 발효가 되는 거고요. 일본의 정정표기 아니면은 병기표기 그다음에 또 위안부 사건까지 뉴욕시 교육국에 있는 모든 교과서에 기재되게 되는 큰 사건입니다. 그래서 여러분들 지금이 시작이고요. 학부모협회가 시작했습니다. 범동포위원회가 조직됐는데 뉴욕의 범동포위원회가 모두 힘을 합해서 우리를 도와주시기 바라고 그러면 이 일이 꼭 이루어질 거라고 생각합니다. 감사합니다.